Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, then remember to subscribe. Today I am going to share a story with you. The story of a man who died twice. No, this is not a fairy tale, nor is it about Wolverine from X-Men. Rather, it's about an ordinary man from Tennessee named Bill Seeds. In fact, I'm going to tell you about two men who died twice and how doctors brought them back to life each time. You might wonder what they did that made them die twice. Well, it's not something you think. Rather, it was an experiment. An experiment to find out if a dead person can be brought back to life. Or more precisely, at what point can someone be declared truly dead? But before we continue, remember to hit the like button below the video and subscribe to stay updated about all our latest stories. Before telling you their stories, let's talk about our main question. That is, how do doctors know when someone has died? According to conventional methods, brain death is used to declare a person dead, which is irreversible. However, brain death does not apply to everyone. There are cases where people without a heartbeat or brain activity have been revived. So far, there have been 12 documented cases of people who have died and come back to life. But the case of Bill and another man named Juan were unique and different from other cases. In Juan's case, his heart stopped beating because of a drug overdose. Doctors injected him with adrenaline to restart his heart, but it had no effect. Juan was then given CPR for half an hour, but still his heart did not beat again. After 20 minutes of cardiac arrest, he was put on a ventilator. Amazingly, even after being on the ventilator, his brain did not show any sign of activity. After 4.5 hours, he was taken off the ventilator. At this time, doctors pronounced him brain dead and prepared him for organ donation. However, one of the doctors asked for 5 more minutes to try and bring him back to life. And guess what? His heart started beating again. While Juan was lucky to be saved in the nick of time, Bill's situation was quite different. In Bill's case, his heart stopped beating for 40 minutes. It happened while he was getting a pacemaker fitted to regulate his abnormal heartbeat. The doctors kept trying to revive him, but failed. Just when they lost hope, one of the doctors decided to inject him with a special solution. And miraculously, Bill's heart began to beat again. You may wonder why doctors were able to save Juan, but not Bill. Well, the answer lies in the amount of time that had passed since they stopped breathing. Juan had stopped breathing for only 4.5 hours, whereas in Bill's case, it was 40 minutes. So what is the exact duration of time after which a person can be declared dead? Technically, a person can be kept on life support indefinitely, but we cannot keep him on artificial respiration forever. For this reason, there should be a limit beyond which a person cannot be brought back to life. So doctors wanted to find this limit. To find this limit, the same experiment was performed on other healthy volunteers. In most cases, the volunteers' hearts began beating again after 60 minutes of cardiac arrest. But in some cases, the heart started beating even after 180 minutes. These experiments shocked the world. It raised many questions related to life and death. Questions like, what happens to consciousness after death? Does the soul leave the body, or does it remain inside? Does the body automatically start repairing itself after death? What exactly is death? These questions led scientists to perform more and more experiments. In this regard, scientists conducted an experiment in which they killed mice by cutting off their heads. After killing them, they placed their heads in a special solution. Strangely, the mice's heads reacted to the pain. Later, scientists also tested this experiment on dogs. To make the dogs die, they cut off their limbs and spinal cord and even removed their ribs. Even after all this, when the scientists touched the dogs with a cotton swab, their body twitched. Scientists also removed the brains of these dogs, but they still reacted to external stimuli. Scientists also observed their reflexes and found that their reflexes remained intact, even after removing the brain. This raised a big question. If the dog's brain was not needed to respond to the stimuli, then what was it needed for? Was the dog really dead, or was it in some kind of deep sleep? If you ask me, I don't think the dog was dead, because we all know that if the brain is removed, the body cannot survive. These experiments show that if the brains of humans were removed, could they be kept alive artificially? Could they react even without a brain? Later, scientists decided to conduct a similar experiment on humans. However, due to ethical reasons, this experiment has not been conducted yet, but it has been conducted on chimpanzees. Chimpanzees' head was removed and placed in a special solution. After that, they were given food and water through tubes, and their limbs were moved with the help of a machine. Surprisingly, the chimpanzee's jaw closed on its own when food was put into its mouth. Also, when the scientists touched its limbs, it reacted as if it was alive. Not only this, they also saw tears in the chimpanzee's eyes, as if it was feeling pain and sorrow. From these experiments, scientists learned that if the head of a chimpanzee is separated from the body and connected to a machine, it can survive for at least 24 hours. It's incredible to think that a chimpanzee can live without a body. But what if the whole body is kept alive without a head? In order to find out, scientists performed an experiment on a dog. In this experiment, the dog's head was removed and connected to a machine. The machine pumped blood into the dog's body, keeping it warm and supplied oxygen to it. Surprisingly, after connecting the dog's body to the machine, it urinated, and even one of its legs quivered. Scientists were amazed to see this. Maybe they thought that if this experiment is successful on a dog, they can repeat it on humans. But this has not happened yet, and I don't think it should happen either, because it would be unethical. But if this experiment is successful on humans, then maybe we would be able to answer our question about what happens after death. Maybe we'll be able to find out whether a person's consciousness goes somewhere else, or whether it disappears altogether. We can also know what happens to our body after death, whether it automatically starts repairing itself or not. And finally, we can know what is the exact period after which a person cannot be brought back to life. But these questions cannot be answered until the experiment is conducted. And maybe this experiment will never take place because it raises many ethical questions. Still, if we succeed in answering these questions, then we will be able to improve our medical technology. We will be able to develop a better system for keeping patients on life support. We'll also be able to know how to deal with the initial stages of death. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to completely defeat death. After all, everything in the universe is energy, and we are also made up of energy. The only difference is that we call ourselves humans because we have consciousness. So if we learn to control energy, then maybe we'll be able to control death too. But it's just my opinion. What do you think about it? Can death be defeated? Or is it impossible to bring a dead person back to life? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today. Thanks for watching this video till the end. If you liked it, then press the like button below the video and subscribe to stay updated about all our latest stories.